We are a relatively young organization. We're now 12 years old. And I think there were some really interesting legacy governance issues that we were dealing with. And as we started to look at what is it that we want to do in the future and how do we want to represent ourselves and how do we want to collaborate with each other within the company, but also with external stakeholders, it was really critical that we analyze the way that we were working and the way that we were engaging with each other to find ways to really bring out all of the exciting things that we want to achieve as an organization, and starting with our governance was really key to that.
But there were a lot of these kind of legacy roles and legacy kind of assumptions. There was just a lot of assumptions about who did what in the organization and why. And this process really allowed us to have those conversations and actually ask, okay, so why is this happening? Who's doing this? Who's responsible for this? And we're actually in the process of still having those conversations. And I think we're going to be having them for a while. So this process really supported us in making what should be obvious, but was very unspoken or like not spoken and quite confusing, actually surfacing that and having real conversations that we really needed to have.
I think the process of going through the prompts gave us an opportunity to really analyze and think critically about why we do certain things or why certain things are the way they are. And a major learning that came from those prompts and that really focused discussion was the fact that a lot of our ways of being and ways of doing were a result of unintentionality. Is that even a word? But it really wasn't rooted in any real process or articulated decision to be that way. So through that process, we've been able to clarify some of what we're doing and why we're making those decisions, and have really discovered a framework to work within so that we're able to achieve our goals in a way that is efficient, but also serves the impact that we want to have.
An example of what's surfaced in the conversations we've had about kind of roles and responsibilities is we are a founder-led organization, which is amazing and has so many incredible benefits, but sometimes it means that what is in the founder's head is not in everybody else's heads. And so it really allowed us to get on the same page about values. You know, we've had conversations about things that were true for the organization when it started 12 years ago, but are no longer true for it now. And okay, so how do we need to change as a result? You know, it's been all sorts of different, again, seemingly small and insignificant things, but when you put them all together, they add up to an organizational culture. And so we've really been able to kind of disentangle that and then put it back together in a more intentional way.
That we recognize that a lot of our decision making and a lot of the culture that existed was really driven by personal relationships and by personalities and less from an articulated place. However, the parallel that we were able to draw was that despite the culture being very personally driven, it was also very values driven, and being able to make that articulation and understand these are the values actually that we're using in analyzing opportunities and making decisions was really critical to then understanding how we work together as a group, as a unit. And the immense value of being able to articulate the values through which we make decisions is that then when the time comes that someone moves on from the organization, that information is very well articulated and documented so that somebody coming into a new role will understand the way that we work as a team and the way that we want to make impact.
So I think that just going through the process and being willing to have these kind of challenging at times conversations and uncomfortable at times conversations was just really healthy for us as an organization to, like, again, figure out who we are and really surface a lot of things that were unspoken.